Hello, my name is Michaela McGregor, and welcome to my evening and nighttime routine as a law student at Boston University School of Law. It's a weekday routine, so it's very busy, and hopefully it's also inspirational. It's also voiceover edition because I figured I could go into detail a bit easier speaking over the microphone rather than trying to discuss everything as I went about doing it during the actual day that I filmed this. Starting off in the evening after my last class of the day, which is torts. Torts is basically liabilities. So we have 4 lectures per week for torts, and then, well, technically one of them is a review session, but it kind of feels like a lecture anyway. After that, I packed up everything, put together my books. It always takes me a while at the end of the day to figure out what I'm going to be taking home and what I'm going to be leaving in my locker at BU. And sometimes if I have a little bit of homework left over with one of my larger textbooks that I haven't finished yet for the day, I'll stay for a little bit, finish it. Typically I do finish by the time that I want to go home with the stuff that I need to do out of the textbook, and I just bring my laptop homework home. But this particular day I did just have to wrap up something with my contracts textbook. It didn't take long at all, but I finished reading a case which concluded a chapter and then took some notes on that. I briefed that case, which is basically just taking down the facts of the case, put everything away, and then went out to get the train to go back home. I always use the app to track when the train is coming, and sometimes I cut it a little bit close, and I definitely did this day. You can see the train is just arriving as I cross the street to catch it. Then I rode up the street just to go to Dollar Tree and the grocery store. Today I needed to pick up both flashcards and food from the grocery store. I will walk a little bit farther on some evenings if it's nice out and I want to enjoy the fresh air. It was a little bit chillier this day, so I didn't take the time to walk very far. I just took the nearest stop. I needed to buy flashcards so that I could start making notes for the UCC for contracts. And it took me a long time to find them in Dollar Tree. You can see they're buried right there. Then I went to the grocery store, I cleaned my basket as I always do, and I went and got my usuals. There's a couple of staples that I just buy pretty much every single time that I go to the grocery store, and that includes apples, like a whole bag of apples, because I go through them very quickly, and then also a bag of carrots. Often I get yogurt, which I did on this day as well, eggs occasionally. Here, I could not find the package of 6 eggs, so I had to get a whole dozen. Yeah, they were nowhere to be found. And I also got oats as well, because I finished off my little tub of oats to make my oatmeal in the mornings. Whenever I get back to my apartment, the first thing I do after taking off my shoes and coat, of course, is I go and wash my hands, just because I feel like I've been touching a lot, holding the pole on the tee or just, touching things at school. After that, I put away my groceries. And then once all of my groceries are away, I pretty quickly after that will unpack my lunchbox, because I always need to wash the Tupperware that I've used for my lunch that day, and that way I can still pack my lunch that same evening once the Tupperware has dried. So I rinsed out, washed everything, also washed my breakfast plates, which I never have time to wash after breakfast because I always rush out in the morning. And once all of that is clean, then I go and start doing some homework. After getting a little bit of homework out of the way, I go and prep my dinner. Sometimes I do cook, and on nights like this when I'm a little bit busier and I know that I have to go out and do errands like the grocery store, I tend to just rely on leftovers. So that's what I did tonight. I had some leftover vegetables, a mixture of peas and carrots, and then I also had this amazing leftover, it's like a noodle egg tomato mixture thing that I'd gotten from a noodle place in town, and it was honestly like one of the best flavors I've ever had. It was so good. After supper, during the warmer months, I like to go for a walk. Unfortunately, that's just not really as possible when it's completely dark out and really cold at this time of year, so I just went and did some cleaning instead. I had some clothing that really was beginning to accumulate on my bench in my room, so I went through and picked up that. And then I sat down because I had a couple hours of work ahead of me. So it was 4 lessons on this particular evening, and then in between each lesson, I have a tiny bit of time once I finish the feedback report and before the next lesson starts. So I went back to the kitchen, started packing my lunch for the next day. Then I had to return for call number 2, the second lesson. By the way, I teach English as a second language, so I do virtual lessons with students and go over grammar, vocabulary, fluency, pronunciation with them. And then after the second call, I went back to the kitchen, did some more packing, returned to my room, did the third call, then went to the bathroom and began to just get myself ready for the evening, like taking off my makeup. And then shortly after that, there was not much time, had to return to my room for the 4th final call, finished work for the evening. But then after that, I did do more homework, so I worked on my flashcards for contracts and wrote out only 5. It looks like, and it felt like a ton of time that I was doing this, but I only managed to get 5 cards done. Because my mornings are so rushed, and it's because I also work in the morning, so I'm always just on a tight schedule, without fail, I always have to get ready for the next day, so pack up my backpack and lay out all of my clothing for the next day, and then I also get ready before I shower, so I just lay out my pajamas, and I also wash my laptop and my phone, just disinfect them with wipes, because I am admittedly a germaphobe. And then I went to first I opened up my window, just because it gets very hot in my room, the radiator turns on and I'm not able to control it, my apartment controls it, so it gets pretty stuffy in there. And yeah, I opened up my window, went into the bathroom, brushed my teeth, brushed my retainers, and prepared to take a shower. This also involved brushing my hair. I sped it up because it took a long time to brush it. It was a bit tangled, and there's no need for you to have to sit through all that. But it's kind of interesting how it gets so puffy after brushing it. So I took my shower, and then afterwards I also braided my hair. I do this almost every single night, because if I don't braid my hair, it's just extra frizzy the next day, and no matter what, it is going to be frizzy, so I can temper it a little bit if I take the time to braid it before bed. And then I take some time to myself before finally going to sleep, so I will watch something on Netflix. Often I watch a bit of a French show so that I can practice my French language ability, which is minimal, like it's next to nothing, but I haven't had time to do proper studying these days. After that, I go to bed usually by 10:15 because I wake up at 5:37, so yeah, I'm always in bed definitely by 10:20. But yeah, that is a typical evening and night in my life. It's my routine I follow pretty much every single weekday evening, but I hope that you enjoyed it and that you have a wonderful rest of your week.